What's up, all you weekend warriors, and welcome back to another episode of Sunday Night Stream. It's going to be another short one for this week and next week, as JT is scheduled for work those nights. So tonight we're just going to keep it light, since we didn't get any suggestions for this week's topic on our Twitter. So tonight, let's just shoot the shit. Let's do what we usually do. I suppose I might as well talk about why I'm going to Comic-Con. I am in a band. We don't have a name yet, still very new. But we wanted to write a song about Comic-Con. And so I thought, well, I went to Vermont Comic-Con last year, and he'd been talking about wanting to go back, so, logical conclusion there. And it didn't have, like, a lot of big-name guests on the list last year, but we're getting a few Power Rangers this year, so that'll be interesting. And yes, I bought another fidget spinner. Throw hate at me all you want. I can't stop. Let's talk about what I did there last year. Because I did a couple of things. I went to an artists panel. I saw a cosplay contest and purchased a few things. Some of them were just like random stuff out of a toy bin. One of my favorite things I got was this, actually. This is a dice bag for, your typical tabletop role-playing dice. But I love the design of the calavera on it, the sugar skulls. I just think that's kind of cool. I love the stitching, too, because it's got a square kind of shape to it, so that if you plop it on a table, it'll sit right up and it won't fall over. It's got very sturdy paracord for its cinch knot, and it's overall well constructed, and it holds all my dice great, which is important because my old felt one was falling apart. I know I probably should just be using a Crown Royal bag because it's tradition, but this is nice. This is nice. Of course, I won't say no if someone offers me a Crown Royal bag. I think they're awesome. So to clear that up, yes, I do play D&D. I played 5th edition most recently, and I'm going to talk with the other dojo members about it. But there is a geek shop, a comic shop near where I work that would be hosting Dungeons and Dragons on Friday evenings, and with permission from the owner and the agreement of the other guys, I think it'd be cool to stream that here on the dojo if that's something you guys would be interested in. It's all up to you, of course. If you guys don't want to see it, we won't stream it because we don't want to waste anyone's time. Let's talk about Comic-Con some more. So, what are my plans for this year? One is obviously work on the song. Two, I want to get footage to upload up to the dojo's channel for you guys. Just a couple of vlogs and whatnot. 3, I think I might get coverage of the cosplay contest, if that's okay with the board. I may have to ask. No promises on that because we're not really an established channel yet, so we can't really be called a reliable news source, and they obviously want to protect the contestants. I'm definitely going to ask some cosplayers if they would like to, actually be on video. Because I think there's a lot of interesting cosplays to be found out there. And I think, we'd be missing out if we didn't get to see some of the creative ideas that people come up with. So I'm going to ask around Comic-Con later in August, see if any cosplayers want to show up on video. Now, keep in mind, again, this is we're way too small to be showing up on any kind of panel. Maybe in the far future, we might have our own panel at some conventions or whatnot, but right in the near future, it's less than likely. As far as plans for videos on the dojo go, I did film an episode of Pricey Plastic. I don't know when it's going up because I'm going to have to take a little time out of every afternoon to edit it down because the actual filming of it was less than successful, but I think I can save it. Uh, oh yeah, so it turns out I do have to take my 5-disc changer to get fixed. Lay bummer. But I didn't spend that much money on it, so if the price goes over like $100, I'll just probably check it out and just get a single disc thing, which I'm cool with. Uh, I think now normally at this point in time we would talk about plans for the dojo. Um, I am waiting to hear back on getting some helmet bases for Revuger. I did want to talk about. I think I showed you guys the gloves that I purchased for Revuger a while back on the last Toku Chatsu I did. For those of you who are not familiar with that, yes, these are the gloves that we'll be wearing in Revuger. I think I may have ordered mine just a size too small, but looks pretty good on screen at least. And as far as visors go, those did come in too. I'm going to be using motorcycle helmet visors. And because I don't want to fool around with the heat gun or any kind of resin tricks. I am going to use the heat gun, but this is almost already in shape. So I'm just going to hit the inside with the heat gun, flex it to shape, and just try to fix it there while it cools. And that's kind of what I've got going for Revuger so far. I know Kenny is working on his stuff lately. I do want to try to make some props for him, and I'm going to be getting sent a really good helmet template if things go well. So I'll probably even try making him a helmet. We'll see. Please, come on. Oh, there we go. Sorry, my computer froze for just a second. So, I probably want to make Kenny a new helmet because, like, I finally see the design he's going for, and I think it'd be relatively easy to do at least the base of it. I might need to do some work on the hair, but I think it would be within my realm of capabilities to create a helmet such as that. If any of you have ideas for projects we could start on the dojo, don't forget to tweet those at us, by the way, because we would love to hear that. I'm sorry, I'm trying to stay focused here without someone else to bounce my ideas off of. I tend to drift a lot. Some of the other reviewers are getting their channels set up, by the way. Keep your eye open for a guy by the name of Tabletop Tony. He will be reviewing tabletop games, trading card games, and the like. I think also the occasional video game, but we're going to start. I think he's going to start with board games to, get his feet wet. San Minato Reviews is still waiting on just a few pieces of essential equipment before he gets started. And Kuro Yatogami is also, or Kuro Yatogami, that's his channel name right now. I don't know if he intends to change it. He's, I think, at the moment picking out what he wants to review first, and then he's going to bring me the footage for it to be edited. Plain and simple that. Now, as far as Tech Talk, Thursday, we're not we're sorry it didn't happen last week. Um, we may not be able to do it this week either. We're going to have to see how that goes. Again, this is a very busy time of year for everyone. It's just about reaching the end of summer. A lot of businesses start picking up right about then. It happens. As a matter of fact, I am going to be fairly busy. I'll still show up for streams and whatnot, but I'm going to be working 6 days a week for the later half of August, except for Comic-Con, and through September. So it won't be until October where things will start to slow down for me, so you might see a little less content from me. I am going to take a Sunday before stream, and I am going to, film reviews of each of the individual components of Menasor. I just need to write that out, and then I'll edit it down and make a couple different videos so you guys have something to watch. I know Kenny is branching out, trying some new stuff. He did that spicy wing challenge, which I thought was hilarious. Kenny, just don't hurt yourself when you do that if you're watching this, buddy. You got to be careful. Let's see, what else is there to do? I guess next on the agenda, we can just talk about stuff that has been on my head lately as far as, points of interest. And I thought we would talk about something relatively nerdy. I mean, even nerds of today consider this kind of niche or interesting to get into. You find a D&D player, it's an interesting conversation to have, but I thought we would talk about dice for a minute. Just get out a few examples here. This is a D12 from your standard Dungeons and Dragons starter kit. Black plastic, white pips. It's enough to get you playing the game, but sometimes you want an effect for your dice, and that's when dice collecting comes into play, because you've got all these different manufacturers, and they make all these different dice in so many different color schemes. It's a lot like collecting marbles. You're never really done. And as you can see, I mean, this is maybe not one of the better ones because dark red pips on a dark green and blue background. I actually am a big fan of the D4. I like the way it rolls. And I know that doesn't make a lot of sense. You roll it when you need it, but I have my favorite dice. I like the D4 is not way up there, but as far as ones that I'm excited to roll for, that's one of them. Just reach into the sack of skulls once more, and this is a screwed up one I found actually in a hobby shop. It's one of two that I grabbed. I think they're homemade cast ones, but this one actually has the same number printed a couple different times across it. So I can't really use it, or I might get caught. But then there's one that I do like to use just to screw with people. I tell them I have this. I tell them that I tell them that I had the spots removed for luck, but I remember where the spots formerly were. That's just my little reference. Some of you might get that, some of you won't. I never really understood this one because, like, it's essentially just like flipping a coin. Ultimately, your chances are changed depending on which side of this it rocks to. So it's not really an even chance all the way around. It's kind of almost like a bracket of chance in my head. I could be wrong. I'm not the best at probability. But that's how I see it. It's like if it lands on its side, ultimately the overall outcome is going to be changed depending on which way it rocks. And there's two variants of this kind of a die. There's one where it just has single number. As a matter of fact, let me get up the other one as an example. Sent here somewhere. See, this is what I'm talking about. There's two variants of this die. Um, you've got one where it's just like single-digit pips going up to 10, or actually it's 0 in this case. At least I'm very fond of these dice, just the swirled red plastic and the gold pips. You can't see it so well on camera, but it does look very nice. The other variant is this double-digit one, which I tend to... I use it when it's within reach. Ultimately, I don't think I need it. I can just add that extra 0 onto the standard single-digit die. Speaking of which, here's another variant of the D12. Again, it's difficult to read because it's dark colors against dark colors. But that's probably one of the better examples. Excuse me, there is something I want to show off here. Because I used to live out in Ohio, as some of you who watch our show may know that. And out in Ohio, there is a board game store by the name of Underhill Games. No, they're not sponsoring us or anything. This is just a bit of a story. I don't know if they still do, but when I was there, they were selling cast iron dice made in Italy. And I bought one 1d6 from each set. And so here's one of them that I rather like. The number is represented by how many triangles are on it. And then this one here, which has a very gothic look about it. You know, standard numeral pips. This one is frustrating because it's possible to roll it and land it on its corner, which happens more often than you'd think, which means you have to have a reroll. It's frustrating. It's not fun. So I think that's really all I can say. I mean, I guess we can show off my collection a little bit. This isn't a review or anything. This is just me going through it. You've seen a few of them already, so I'll try to avoid doubles here. This one, again, I came across in Underhill Games. As with most board game stores or comic book shops, there's going to be like a little bucket full of dice that you can just pick from. It's a lot of fun. It's a pearlescent white die. I think you can kind of see it on camera. Here's the 6th side. This is the reason I picked it up. I thought that was cool. I think this is crucial to another game type, or it could be the brand that makes the die. I'm not sure. But it is my favorite D6. I do enjoy using it quite a lot. And then, pardon me. And then, I've got some other fairly standard D6s, like your old school Yahtzee die. A black one with red pips that I can't really see offhand. I don't want to go digging for it and waste time. This I'm borrowing from a Dragonology board game. You know, those Candlewick Press books? They have board games too. Little D12. There's your 12. It comes in handy. I think you guys saw the translucent ones. I showed you that one. Sorry, here it is. Black with red pips. Nothing too special. I do try to buy more whenever I get the opportunity, and going to Comic-Con later next month, I will definitely have that opportunity. If I've got any D&D players in the audience who would like to, actually see either me streaming Dungeons and Dragons from a local comic book store, or B, showing off the dice and dice bags I get from Comic-Con, let me know on our Twitter and our Facebook. That's weekend_dojo. That's at weekend_dojo on Twitter and Weekend Dojo on Facebook. Let me know what you'd like to see. So I'm trying to stretch this out as long as possible, honestly, and without a topic, it's kind of difficult. So for now, why don't we go into like a Q&A, open discussion kind of thing? If any of you have any thoughts or questions about the channel that you'd like to ask me, just post them in the chat, and I will try to read them as I get them. So I guess I'll just keep rambling until I do so. Lately, I have been a little bogged down. I've been kind of investing in music for a little bit. I do intend to get back to toys. Don't worry. I'm not giving up one for the other. I actually did order a new guitar. It's just a cheap little acoustic that I can take traveling, but it's got good reviews. So fingers crossed. You can't always trust reviews. It doesn't need to be a good guitar. It just needs to be something that I can bring with me while I'm traveling. Makes an accurate sound, not necessarily a good sound, and that I won't be too upset if it gets broken or stolen. So that's just, my reasoning for that. I did also buy a 6-movie disc of Godzilla films that I'm quite looking forward to getting. I love the Godzilla series. It's some of my favorite tokusatsu. I wouldn't have. There are some recent changes in it that just reassert my suspicions for the series. Essentially, America cannot do a good Godzilla film, and we need to stop trying. That's my opinion. Shin Godzilla definitely did what Godzilla 2000 did last time, and reasserted that Toho can make a better Godzilla film than any American studio. I want to try finding more giant monsters with their own series that I could watch, because I've been watching Ultra Q Dark Fantasy on and off for a while, and that's pretty fun. I watch Ultraman on and off. I'm planning on watching Ultraman Z. I'm not entirely sure, when I'm going to get started on that. Probably after I've caught up a little bit with my Toku. I've got a long list. I want to at least eliminate a few before I pick up a new one. Plus, I'm also currently watching X-Aid, so I have to deal with that. Oh, Proton Reviews and Fan Edits shows up. Formerly, Proton says, hey Proton. And Kuro Yatogami says the Godzilla movies are spectacular, and yeah, America can't really do Godzilla justice. I agree, Kuro. Proton says he's in the car riding watching. Well, thank you for taking time to watch. If my words are slurred, it's because it's been a bit of a long day. I apologize. So let's talk let's talk tokusatsu for a little bit. I know it's not tokuchatsu, but I just want to talk about what's big in the tokusatsu community right now. I'm super excited and super proud that the Vermont Comic Con is having a few Power Rangers. Even though the Power Rangers from Turbo showing up at the Vermont Comic Con, Turbo was not my favorite season, but I do respect it for what it was. Proton says, "Hey, can I chat through here?" Well, it is a chat. I'm doing sort of the Q&A thing anyway, so go ahead. So yeah, they're Power Rangers from Turbo, but I am excited that they're actually showing up at Vermont Comic Con. I'm really proud that this little convention is getting that much steam. Because I don't think it's actually part of the official Comic Con group. I'd have to look that up, but I think it's independent. It's not an official Wizard World Comic Con style convention. I think it's all local stuff, which again, very impressive. They've got a Gamers for the Cure booth showing up. Last year there was 24 hours of gaming where they were It was a fundraiser where you had to show up to a location and game for 24 hours straight to raise awareness. I believe it was for cancer patients. I would have to look at their site again. Um, I did unfortunately didn't have the opportunity to go because, well, life kind of happens. Yes, Proton mentioned that one line from Turbo. Anyway, uh, I kind of wish that I knew more about the kaiju aspect of tokusatsu than I do, because as it is, I'm only aware of Godzilla and Gamera, and I would love to see more uh, series out there where you've got the giant monster who is the main character, the focus of the movie. Um, because honestly, I want to explore it more. I want to give more series a try. And for those of you out in the audience who have not watched a good giant monster movie in a while, it's the end of the weekend now, but if if you can survive through the week, Friday evening, grab a bowl of popcorn, turn on the Godzilla movie or a Gamera movie. You can find the DVDs anywhere, and just appreciate it for what it is. Its strangeness, its goofiness, its epic music, its action scenes. Okay, Proton Reviews and Fan Edit says you need to watch the Tokusatsu documentary that goes in depth behind the culture of Tokusatsu. Um, Sorry, that was someone knocking at my door. Uh, all right, if you do you have a name for this film, Proton, so that I can go look it up at some point? Because I can't watch it if I don't have a name. So let's see, what else can we talk about this evening? Because oh, it's a 45-minute documentary on YouTube. Well, that helps, but I do need a name. So if you can find that for me so I can watch it, I'd love to. Moving on. So I do plan to get a tripod at some point in the future once I get the helmets done. In Proton, I do want to, well, Kenman, because that's what you're changing your name to. Tokusatsu Renaissance. Oh, okay. I'll give that a look later. So Kenman, I do actually want to build a helmet for you out of foam when I get a template, because I think I'll be able to do it. And at that point, I think I will mess with like a heat gun and a sheet of transparent plastic to make you legitimate eye lenses. And we'll still do like the whole mesh screen front face so that you can see out. And I had a cool idea for your chest plate. We'll talk about that later. So I see we have 3 viewers, but only 2 of you have commented so far. Don't be afraid to speak up, people. Uh, Now, Kenman has actually approached Policy Hack about joining us on Tokuchatsu on Tuesdays. I've not heard anything back about that yet. We understand that he's a very busy man, and he can't change his schedule just to be on the show with us. So, if he can't show up, he can't show up. It's not. We're not going to be offended or anything. He's he's actually pretty big in the community. I mean, he's not. He's well, be the best way to put it. He's been there for the Tokusatsu niche community since way back in the day. Um, and I have really enjoyed watching his videos. Kenman says he's not heard back from him. Well, okay, that's understandable as well. Again, he's busy. he may not have time to read all of his messages, so we'll not get mad. Simple as that. Because he's a good guy, and he's done amazing work in the community. Let's talk about reviewers for a little bit, or at least the ones I watch most regularly, the ones I would love to work with. And if you guys watch any of these other guys, feel free to post this video to them, letting them know I would love to work with them. I would love to work with Easy Rider in Toku Time. I would love to work with, obviously, Apollo's Monstrosities, a Tokusatsu vlog. TJ Omega, I'm a big fan of. I would love to work with him at some point. But he's a more well-established channel. I'm still getting my feet wet. I'm still actually currently building my toy collection, and I do need to fill up my shelves. So maybe when I have a full shelf, I'll approach him about doing like a joint review. We'll see. And these are just people I would love to collab with, just because I think they're cool people, not because I'm trying to get more views on the dojo or on my own channel. I legitimately want to work with these guys for getting their opinions on things. I do respect their views on the subjects that they have chosen to review. I don't think I'll ever get the opportunity to work with people like or AVGN because I'm not in the same reviewer class they are. They are well established, go back to the ancient days of the internet, or at least the ancient days of videos on the internet. AVGN's been making review videos since he was a kid, and I'm still a noob at this, despite doing this for a couple of years. I'm just here doing what I want to do because I want to do it. They have dedicated themselves to the point of having it become a deadline. Granted, Theo Adams is only able to do it when he gets time off of work. Granted, he's still very dedicated to his channel, but he's not fixed himself into deadlines, which I think is very admirable. It means that he can still fit work into his schedule, and he can still spend time on making a good video because he doesn't have a deadline, which I think is important for any artist. Which reminds me, Theo Adams, man, if you're watching this, hit me up on Twitter, LChisel1. I would love to, do like a joint video on something with you. I'm a big fan of your work. I love it. I love your energy. I love Theo Adams' energy. He's all go all the time. And I'm a big fan of his videos of 10 shots, 10 bots. I think his second one was a lot better than the first one, but the first one was great because it was so bad. Oh, there go the dogs. Actually, speaking of bots, let's talk about Transformers for a bit. I do want to get a few of the Titan Masters that are coming out lately, and I've seen leaks of a new gimmick coming out that looks a lot like the Brain Masters. I might have to jump aboard that train and just snatch a couple up. So I think we'll keep this for another 10 minutes. Again, I said it would have to be a short stream, so we'll keep this going for another 10 minutes. I guess we'll wind down for a bit. We've been wound down this whole video, but just backing off of the typical nerdy subjects. Always find time to... Agami has inspired says I've inspired a handful of people, including him, to become a reviewer. Well, thanks, dude, but I'm just kind of passing on what I've learned from reviewers who came before me. We're just generation 2, dude. We're going to be trying stuff that is fresh off the market. It'll be new to us. But we're never going to be really as appreciated as the well-established ones. And it's not that that's a bad thing. They're well-established for a reason. They've got an IP, they've got an idea that people like. And so, we're never going to be able to produce anything that's going to be as appreciated as them because we're the new guys. We'll probably charm a couple of people into watching our videos, and in the end, that's all we need. Just people watching our videos, and whether or not you agree or disagree, that's important. It's like if you disagree, that's a good thing. It's a good thing to disagree with people about it. Which now I'm rambling, but the bottom line is we're just out here doing this as a passion project. We talk about how much we'd like to turn this into a business, and we're going to try, but for the most part, we're doing this because we love it. And if you're going to be a YouTuber or any kind of content creator, that's got to be your bottom line. Is you got to think, you got to wake up in the morning, and when you're about to make a video or you're about to do a stream, you got to think, is this what I want to be doing? And that's the reason I keep doing these streams on Sunday by myself, is because this is like the one consistent thing that I want to keep on this channel. I love doing this. I love getting my thoughts out with you guys. And it's unfortunately we haven't heard from Tone for a while. We hope she's doing okay. But it's like I like to think that maybe she catches these videos at some point. And I just like sitting here and unwinding with you guys. It's a great way to wrap up the weekend right before we roll over into Monday. And then, you just got to get through Monday, and then there's the Tuesday night Toku Chat, so at least until September. Then it'll go back to Saturday night. And, you got to have you can't just sit in your chair dreading waking up to Monday. You got to do something to fill your mind with something else. So for those of you who decide to end their weekend on this, I greatly appreciate it. And I sound probably like I'm sniveling or groveling or just begging for likes, but the bottom line is, we really appreciate your viewership. If we didn't have it, we'd just be a bunch of jerks on the internet yammering our heads off into empty cyberspace. You keep us from devolving into that. You are the separator there. And we owe you a lot for that. So don't be afraid to make requests for what you want us to see. Just remember to keep them within reason is all I'm asking. We want to create content that you guys want to see because you guys want to see us. Is essentially, we want to pay you back for that. And that's really all I can say for this stream. I was hoping it would stretch a little bit longer, but as things go, that's just how it's going to have to be. I'm going to have another long week of work. Of course, I'll still be showing up for, Tuesday night Toku Chats, doing a Sunday stream. I'll be doing it again by myself next week, unless Kenny can get the time, or if JT manages to get his time shifted around again. No pressure on either of them. I can do this by myself, but quick reminder for those of you viewing, remember to tweet discussion topics at us on our channel at Weekend Dojo, and we'll try to kind of organize our conversation based on that. Remember to, and you know what, let's make a little fun segment for the end of next week's topic. So tweet us a topic and then post your favorite convention memory or your wishes for a convention, what conventions you would like to go to, what panels you'd like to see. Pictures would be appreciated. We would love to see some pictures. We're going to try to find a different host aside from Google Hangouts to do these videos in the future. So if you've got any suggestions, also leave those in the comments below after this goes from being a stream to being a video. Thank you all so much for watching. I apologize again that this wasn't as long as it could have been. I'm sorry for those of you who were hoping for a full-on discussion. Can't work out like that every week, but we do try to make it happen. Remember, because Proton Review. Oh, there's Kuro Yatagami. He says, I definitely want to do this with you. It's such a blast even to be a part of what you're doing. You've become a great friend who I want to do this with. And I really appreciate that, man. Don't forget, I need you to come over to get measurements for your chest plate. Email me as soon as you can about when you can do that. Preferably on a Sunday. But I can make afternoons work. So that's about, sorry about spouting business on the stream, but that's about it for this week. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember, topic discussion or discussion topics tweeted to us at weekend_dojo on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. We'll try to post some more stuff on there if we can. Just a question of getting. We don't really. People don't use Facebook as much as they use Twitter. Although I think we have more followers on Facebook than Twitter. Huh. Either way, let us know what you'd like to see. Not just stream-wise, but if you'd like to see us try to do other kinds of videos on the dojo, just to give you something you don't have to sit through an hour and a half or 45 minutes for, let us know. And if you've got any suggestions for me, Kenman, or JT, remember to hit us up on our individual Twitters. I'm not going to ask you to go hunting, but I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. I know that JT Games TV is at JT Games TV on Twitter. Actually, I think it might be Gamer Filth TV because that was his old name. Either way, I think it's Gamer Filth TV. He's on Twitter, and I can't remember. I believe Kenny. If you watch later, please correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe it was Kenman Red Productions on Twitter. Sorry if I'm sending. Don't go following that yet until he clarifies. By the way, just to make sure I've got the right Twitter. So I think that about does it for this week. Thanks once again, everyone, so much for watching. And as always, I will see you later, Weekend Warriors. And as Kenny would say, stay more phenomenal.